Hey guys, I finally broke my half marathon personal best and achieved the sub-2 half marathon goal in Twincity Marathon 2024. So in these videos, I'm sitting down and doing a race breakdown with you guys. I'm going to talk about the cost, my rest and nutrition, the overall race situation, and give you guys a few thoughts before I sum up the series. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into the details. Okay, first let's get into the cost. I was running my half marathon and doing my sub-2 attempt in the event of Twincity Marathon. It was one of the iconic running events in Malaysia being organized since 2014, and this was the night edition of the event. For the route, I think for full marathon runners, they were running and experiencing across two cities, Cyberjaya and Putrajaya, while for half marathon, 12K and 5K runners, we only run in Cyberjaya. But there are one thing in common we all being challenged, which was the tough rolling course. As you can see from the GPX file provided by the organizer, the half marathon elevation profile was 251 meter up and 251 meter down. But from the data collected by my watch after the race, the elevation profile was actually 144 meter in the gain and 155 meter in the loss. There are differences with the information, but with my own feeling and experience, I think it's still a tough course to run. Before I move on, I want to share a little bit of my experience running in this event because I think it was very well organized. Number one, we are running in a pretty early morning, so there was some route where the light were not available and very dark, and I saw those places were lit up by LED light and it just feel more safe to run, as sometimes you can't really see or focus in a dark condition. Number two, the water station. I think these were the most sufficient water station I ever experienced. Every 2 to 3.5k we got a water station set up, and they even have a breakfast station in maybe 17k. I don't stop to take a bite, but it's still something nice to have and enjoy. And finally, we did rent on a highway, although there were no car in the early morning, but for those who finished late, the car will start to show up, so they make sure to guide the road with the safety cone. I think every 50 meter they set up one, so I feel our safety is being taken care of. Overall, I have a great experience with a rating of 8 out of 10. Now let's go back to the day before the race and talk about my rest and nutrition. I had about 6 hours of sleep as recorded in my Coros watch, and I remember I planned to go for an early bed, lights out at around 9:30 p.m. because I was very tired for all the traffic and travel. So I make sure to get in more rest. Hopefully once I wake up the next day, I feel fresh and ready. I also did my carbo load a day before the race. I put in nice amount of food with carbs and protein into my system. I think I finished my final meal at 8 p.m. so that I can let my body and stomach to take a break before I went to bed. The next day, I woke up around 3:50 in the morning to get ready. I had a nice amount of sleep, around 6 hours, although I woke up a few times in the middle, but I think the rest I get was pretty quality. I feel fresh and ready to go. And before I headed to the race venue, I had a piece of white bread and some water. I tried to go toilet in the hotel, but the feeling was not there until I arrived at the race village, so I have to line up and take a quick dump at the porta potty. After everything is settled, I did a 1k warm-up to break the sweat, just running around the race village, and I also performed some leg swing, hamstring curl to loosen up my leg. 20 minutes before the flag off, I took in my first gel and we moved into the starting line around 5:15 a.m. waiting for the countdown and flag off announcement. I tried to sneak in into the front of the crowd as I want to depart as soon as we were let go. The race was flag off on time, 5:30 a.m. and there were so many runners. I think the MC said there were 3,000 plus runners for the half marathon event, so there was a huge crowd running together. Okay, now let's get into my split. I'll explain with you everything happened along the race. For split 1 and 2, I came out in a slower pace around 5:50 to 6 minutes per K, as there were so many runners coming out from the starting line and running with a different pace, so I tried to keep it safe, and once I escaped from the big crowd, I increased my pace to 5:10, 5:20 per K to catch back with the sub-2 pacer group. As what you guys know, my target for this half marathon race is to hit sub-2 hours, and my plan was to follow and cruise with the sub-2 pacer group. But beforehand, I had no ideas on how they were going to pace the race, so I was implementing some of my own strategy here. I looked to conserve the pace when going uphill and push up the pace in the downhill to balance out the average time. So first and second K was pretty smooth and controlled. 2K flat road as an appetizer to open up the race. My condition was still very fresh, had a great energy and smooth leg turnover. Split 3 was where the first rolling hill welcoming us. We need to climb all the way up for 1 kilometer, and I was dropping my pace to 5:50, 6 minutes per K. In the middle of the climb, we came into into the first water station around 2.5k. It was under a flyover, so it was very dark and hard to see. I tried to keep a safe distance with the runner in front of me, and the volunteers were trying their best to guide us for water and keeping the crowd flowing. Actually, I did bring my own soft flask, but I want to reserve that for a little bit later, so I quickly grabbed a cup of water and moved away from the station. Drink a sip and pour the rest on my face. It feels refreshing to help me keep going. For split 4 and split 5, initially I was running up the hill with the Sub-2 pacer group, and coming into this downhill, I followed my plan earlier to speed up and ran past the group with the help of down flat road, try to catch back the time I lost at the incline. Now I was in front of the pacer group, but I was not alone as there were another pack of runners running slightly faster than the Sub-2 pace, so I just eased into the group and find my own comfort rhythm. So I came into my first 5k with a total time of 28 minutes and 6 seconds. That's an average pace of 5:37. Split 6 and 7, enter into the second rolling hill of the race. It was a quick one, like about 3 to 500 meters. I was slowing down my pace to 6:10 per k. I think the pacer group were maintaining their pace, smashing up the small climb, so I joined the group and running up together. After the climb, it was another downhill for 1.5 kilometers, so I pushed up my pace again to 5:10, 5:20 per k. I felt like I was flying down with the help of the decline. At some point, looking at my watch, my pace was hovering around 4:50, and I thought maybe this was too aggressive, too fast, as I still have a long way to go, not even halfway yet. So I hold myself back and brought the pace back to 5:35, 5:40, running with more relaxed effort and conserve energy in the rest of the downhill. Split 8 to 10, we came into the second water station at 7.5k as a group, so it was kind of a crowded situation. I slowed down to walking, grab a cup of water from the table, then quickly move out of the way. In the meantime, the paces continued to roll on. I caught back with the group after finish rehydrate. Then it was another climb. The pacers also start to slow down their pace, and I was running around 50 meters ahead of the group with a few runners. We went up an incline with a pace around 5:50 to 6 minutes per k. We came in 8k at 45 minutes. I decided to take my gel. Initially, my plan was to take gel at 1 hour into the race, but dealing with the rolling course, I felt like my body was a little drained at this point. Not super bonked or exhausted. I think I just need something into the system to replenish my energy and to keep up with the cost and effort. The gel I took was from NA Sport Nutrition. One pack of gel gave me 25 grams of carbs and 40 milligrams of sodium electrolyte. The next 2k was a steady decline with a few elevated road. Nothing too crazy. I took the opportunity to recover, not pushing too hard, running about 5 seconds faster than the Sub-2 target pace. I came into 10k with a total time of 56:05 and an average pace of 5:37. Split 11, 12, 13, I remember we were running out from a U-turn and a short tunnel into an uphill. The next 3k were very rolling. There were 3 climbs to make in total. I dropped my pace to around 6:15, following the pacers group to make up the first 800-meter climb. After the incline, I think I was worrying about losing a lot of time, and I saw it was a nice downhill in front. So I started to push the pace up to 4:05. You can see a sudden spike of pace where I ran down with the help of momentum. Now, I knew this pace was very aggressive for me. It was normally where I do my stride. So I slowly ramped down the pace back to 5:10 per k. Nutrition wise, here at 1 hour mark, 11k, I took my salt electrolytes, 2 tablets every 15 minutes or around 2k to replenish the sodium level in my system to prevent any sort of cramping moving into the second half of the race. The next 2k were on target. We came in third water station and continued to run the other 2 rolling hill, follow the pacing of the pacers group. Split 14 and 15 was a recovery phase for us approaching the downhill, but I don't pick it up too much, just maintain a steady rhythm and ran with the momentum. Because the hill earlier did push my fatigue up by a lot, and I thought I need to take it more easy and reserve some energy for later on. We came into the water station at around 14.5k, and I was dropping by the pacers group while I spent time walking and grabbing water. After I finished rehydrate, a small gap created between me and the group, so I need to quickly regroup and get back into my rhythm. Alright, coming into 15k, 1 hour, 24 minutes and 10 seconds, average pace 5:37. Split 16, 17 and 18, again it was a hill coming up and I struggled with this a lot. Before I hit the climb, I took my second gel and drank the water I brought with the flask. I remember the scenery was very beautiful and I figured out this was the route to enter the city. I just drove by here yesterday and ran up the ramp. It was so difficult and challenging. My effort was reaching maximum threshold. My legs start to get heavier. I want to stop, but instead I lower down my pace, adjust my breathing and keep it steady moving up the hill. It felt very relieved when I I finally get over it. As you can see from the split, 16k was very tough for me, but 17k was completely opposite. I ran my fastest split of the entire race with 5:10 per k with the help of decline, and it was a long decline, so I think I was having a sufficient time to recover. Split 19 and 20, final climb of the course. I was so tired and a big gap was created between me and the Sub-2 pacer group. They were climbing up steadily while I was holding on to my own rhythm, taking my salt tablet. Hopefully I don't cramp because I felt my body was getting hotter. It was like burning inside. I remember a friend came out during the climb and say hi with me, but I just gave him a short reply as I was suffering at that point. Later, we did meet up again at the finish line and congratulate each other. Coming into 20k, 1:51.49, 5:36 in average. Final stretch, it was a fast finish, man. Straight 1.1k downhill back to the finish line. The Sub-2 pacers slowed down their pace. I think they need to catch on to their duty, so they told us to go on if can. It was the time to go. I turned right and started to pick up the pace, running all the way back. I found a few photos captured by the photographers along the stretch. Looks like I was really focused and working hard. Entering into the chill zone, 200 meters away from the finish, it felt so great to see the finish line and listen to the support from the crowd. I think I heard someone shout out my name from the side and I pointed it back, so to whoever you are for the support, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. I crossed the finish line in 1 hour 58 minutes 38 seconds official time, and I got 1 hour 57 minutes 7 seconds half marathon personal best roundup as I ran 28.38 kilometers, slightly over distance. I was so tired after the race, but it felt so great to achieve something you have been working hard for that long. I did 2 attempts to get my Sub-2 half marathon. The first one was a little shy away, so I learned from the experience and started another 9 weeks of training block. Actually, totals of 10 weeks included taper weeks. I follow a fixed training structures, consistently showed up weekly and complete every workout on my plan. I think nutrition part was something I did not optimize to the best. My energy started to drop after 30 to 40 minutes into the race, maybe because of the hilly course, but I think it is more on I was not fully prepared for it. So there are a lot of room for me to improve the next time, and I will continue to test stuff in my upcoming training vlog. Back to the race, I have a quote which I think is the good one to sum up the race and the Sub-2 series. You will get faster, but it never get easier. Alright, very appreciate you guys for following my Sub-2 journey, supporting the videos and giving me precious advice. I will continue to train for my next goal and bring to you more about running and stuff. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.